fire, 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 fire.
No, you're not ready? No, scatter! No, no! Alright, chat. You have been on the internet for a while. I am sure that one of these furries you're probably aware of. The most disturbing furries by royalty is here.
So, furries. Yes,
Oh, God.
furries, not fairies. I know of my hereditary
Fairies!
speech impediment that comes with the buff of being British.
I like how he censors the teeth. Yeah.
It sounds like I'm talking about the Tinkerbell-looking things with wings,
Fairies!
but no, I'm talking about the
Fairies!
Lola Bunny-liking, Beastars watching, and apparently oil tycoons,
Beastars was made by a woman.
with how most of them can afford some of the equipment for this hobby,
Oh my-
like the
2,000 pounds for just the helmet alone.
fursuits, which are just thousands for the paws. But yes, furries, I've talked about them a
Fucking
lot on this
furries,
channel.
man.
Not as much as maybe other things like VR chat, VTubers, or the
Alright. Okay. Alright. Alright. Very funny. Hilarious. You're so funny. Alright. This is what I get for calling him a fucking the freaking beaver bird. See, chat? It's funny when it's not spoiled. I know! I didn't see this!
random topics I find to make into videos, but I've made at least 2 videos on the topic and made a
man.
few offhand comments, like how I didn't know the Odd Ones Out was a fairy, and the fact you
I
may be
didn't know that either until, like, recently.
in contact with someone that is a fairy, you just don't know it yet,
Fairy!
especially if they're in the army and
Isn't there a running gag where, like, you can't have too many coders? Like, there can't be too many people going to a furcon because it could cause a national crisis? Because there's a lot of furries in IT. Yeah, like, they have to, like, make, like, provisions. Like, you can't have too many furcons in a row.
IT related job or have any remote
It's a real
interest in
thing.
games
Yeah, I
like
believe
Team
it.
Fortress
I
2.
think... no dissing, like, furries. I think you have to be an exceptional, like, smart person to work in IT and, like, government jobs with, like, a lot of information. You have to have not low IQ, high IQ. Of course there's stupid furries. There's stupid people everywhere. But I think that being eccentric and being unique is, like, I don't want to say it's like almost like a necessary, but, like, I feel like the more exceptional you are, the more intelligent you can be. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Like, that's like my rule of thumb now. Like, if I meet someone who's eccentric, I always think, like, they're either gonna be really smart or really stupid. Alana defends furries? No, not at all. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, like, not necessarily a furry. I'm just saying they have to be, like, exceptional in some way. Rule of thumbnail? I meant rule of thumb. I don't know why I say thumbnail.
Hey, I don't make the rules.
Why do so many furries work in IT?
And no, I am
Oh,
not a
fuck.
fairy for the final fucking time. Not even my
Aw, come on, man. But you're smart and you make videos and you're funny.
3D avatar is fairy inspired. It's more of a reference to Hotline Miami, if any.
That's based. Hotline Miami was one of the only gifts that someone's ever given to me on Steam. Because it was like $5.
Thing.
Or
And my
$10.
profile picture is a cute bird I found in my wall. And knowing the lifespan of birds and why I assume is a great tit, it is probably dead.
Aww.
Anyway, disclaimer to the
I thought it was
side,
a beaver
ever
at
since
the
my
start.
first video on fairies, I think almost 2 years ago now, I don't think much has changed about the community. They still have somewhat of a negative
Oh my god.
reputation surrounding them, to
your
the
paws
point
up
where
on
if
my
you are
paws
not
up.
remotely involved in the community at all,
Most
you
furries
don't
don't
go
have fursuits. Sorry, I gotta go back. Most furries don't have fursuits. Yeah, because they're expensive.
remotely involved in the community at all. You don't go to the conventions, you don't even own a fursuit, you don't even know what your fursona is yet. You just watched Zootopia once and it made you feel a certain type of way, but you
I don't
still
know about that one.
identify under
I'm
the
a furry, get used to it.
title of furry, and if you ever mention such in a social setting, most people will treat you as if you are just
Most of them unemployed? Dude, I don't think so. Because if you want to know what I've learned from talking to artists, they said that, like, as a last resort, sometimes you can just get into the furry community and learn how to draw anthropomorphic animals with, like, human features. A lot of them have a lot of money for some reason. Like, they're either sitting on, like, a fortune of money, like, inherited because they're a Nepo baby, or they're, like, some sort of crazy IT startup person, or they're, like, into crypto, or something crazy. Like, I know, this is anecdotal, but it's just crazy, like, yeah, like, I wouldn't say they're unemployed. It's expensive to, like, have a fursuit.
admitted you were a scientist for Unit 731 during World War II and charged with intentional indecent exposure. Those two things, or admitting you're a Nikkei 30 fan in 2025.
I could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go? Taylor Swift's bathroom. Yeah.
And the main reason people have this
all the celebrities
reaction is either due to some
No. I will defend furries for this one. Diaper wearing idiots that roleplay being babies are not synonymous with being a furry. There's people who roleplay being diaper babies without the furry part to it. It's not the same. There's overlap, sure, but it's like there's something about people who, like, infantilize themselves. Chat. There were people that I knew in World of Warcraft that, like, unironically were into diapers. They were not furries. They're fucking weird. They always come out with some fucking weird shit. Oh my god. Maybe I'll tell the story one day, but it's so fucking gross, man. Aspen? No! I didn't know Aspen, bro.
fairies that are a lot more vocal about their hobby, to the point where it's their entire identity and everyone must know, or people confuse them with Therians, which is a completely different ballpark. That's people actually acting like animals. Or more recently, you have the fairies in those VR chat trolling videos taking on the mantle of destroying the reputation of fairies themselves.
FIB, Special Agent, Sleeper Agent.
What's an FIB?
FBI.
Oh. You're a liar.
A liar. A liar.
I'm gonna sue you for that.
Sue you and sue my fucking family, and my family will be dead.
No, I'm not kidding.
Alright.
The last time I let out my anger, a lot of people fucking died. All I remember.
Oh my god. This is some bad vibes, brother. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
All I remember was seeing 5 to 10 dudes, and then everything just goes black.
All I remember is me having a dream about killing everyone, and then I like blacked out because I was so... My brain hurt so much, and I had to go take a nappy poo, and then everything was fine. MK Ultra!
They always have the same way of speaking, or the same inflection to their voice. It's like a VR chat accent at this point, and probably the most prominent reason people hate
I think it's a phenotype, yeah, for sure.
fairies is due to the more infamous fairies. The ones where everyone else in the community absolutely detests them, and they vehemently claim they are not a part of the community and do not represent them in any way. Yet people outside of the community only—
Oh no, is this the rainforest picture, the infamous one with the pizza? Yeah, I think this is, isn't it?
ever see these infamous characters, probably because of the crimes they commit, often assisting in boosting their story outside of the community, where a normal person will see this and use them as a base example of what all fairies are like, which is probably the equivalent of saying the Sonic fandom is the worst, and using Christian as an example of your average Sonic fan.
Oh my god. I mean, he's got a point, yeah.
Just a little side note, I recently saw a video of him shotgunning a glass of his own offspring.
I really didn't need to know that. I've watched the whole... There's like a famous Christian documentary. What is it called? Yeah, it's the comprehensive history. I watched, I think, up to episode, I want to say like 20. Yeah. No. It was like episode 30. It is crazy. It's fascinating, honestly. Yeah, it's very fascinating.
Mixed with Fanta
I'm on
Instagram Reels, and
it's on part 74 now. That's crazy. I think I was up to 40 when I watched it.
completely ruined my day. Just thought you should know. But hey, admittedly, I used to view fairies the same way. I used to think a few years ago all of them were complete weirdos, until I met a few without knowing and they were just normal and pretty chill. And the only reason
I mean, some of them just have issues and like that's how they dissociate, and like it's not always like a weird thing. Like there's people, I think the first furries appeared back in the 1970s, and like the 1970s, if you think about it, those are probably like boomers growing up in their 20s. Right? Because, like, boomers were born in the 60s and 50s. Or the late 50s, right? That's when the cutoff was. And then they grew up. And maybe they had some trauma and they just, like, wanted to be furries. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say, like, every single person that's a furry is a weirdo.
found out weeks later they were.
How do you know so much about furry lore? I don't know. I just found, like, weird people fascinating and how they function and how... I don't know, it's just like weird shit happens with like weird people and sometimes it's just interesting. Sus? I'm not a furry, bro. I'm not. She's people watching. Okay, bro. Dude, I'm an animal girl. I'm not a furry.
The fairies was because one of them had the fox from the movie.
You tell a furry that VTubers are furries, they would say no. It's not overlapping, okay?
Bad guys as their PC home screen, which was the only downside of associating with them, having to see that every time they shared their screen for a project. But their reputation is slowly changing. Some people would rather associate with a fairy more than your average VTuber now.
Leopard? I would never thought in a world I'd be saying this too, by the way. I think I'd rather kick it with a furry than a VTuber. Furries are unironically not even that bad.
But today I thought...
You want to know why? Because the chances of you meeting a mentally ill VTuber is very high, whereas a furry, you're kind of rolling the dice. Yeah, like, the odds of you meeting a really, really weird furry is like, you know, it's there, obviously, but if you meet a VTuber, they have mental illnesses, they probably have daddy issues, like, they can't talk, like, they're just weird people, right? I can say that I'm a VTuber, by the way.
We would talk about some infamous fairies that actually do deserve the reputation they have, primarily because recently I landed...
Oh my god, this person would unironically call this person a Nazi for having like a fucking helmet like this. Do you guys remember the drama with Zentreya? Yeah, they would call this person a Nazi.
Primarily because recently I landed myself on...
Oh my god, what is that? What is that?
On the furry side of Instagram Reels. I really do...
Is that an American furry?
Hope my algorithm returns to alternative live leak footage. But I was served the video by the user Peebster going into the most infamous fairies, and I thought I would completely copy and take the idea and go into more detail. So thank you, Peebster. I hope you keep horrifying your elderly father with details about the fairy community. But anyway, who are these...
As long as his dad's chill with it.
Fairies that are actual degenerates or straight up criminals?
Yeah.
What kind of prank would that be? That's not a prank. A prank is it's designed to get some sort of a humor out of it.
Probably one of the more tame entries on this list is Magnus Deridian, or Robert Michael Soikowski, a 53-year-old fairy that joined the community in 2003.
Wow,
and
he's one of the OGs, huh?
Say this is the tamest fairy on the list, but the things he's done and been accused of are anything but.
Please don't be a child predator. Please don't be a child predator. Please don't be a child predator. Please, 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 please don't. Please don't be. No.
So yeah, that's how bad this video is going to get. But to give you a quick rundown of some of the allegations against him, Magnus was a prime suspect in the fairy chlorine gas attack.
Oh no!
In 2014, which I talked about in a previous
chlorine gas incident.
this video, where concentrated
They
chlorine
accidentally
powder was
mixed
reported to
it.
be intentionally released at the convention
Oh, intentional. I thought it was an accident.
center, hospitalizing
fucked up.
19 attendees and forcing the convention center to be
Oh
evacuated.
no, there's a tiger in a wedding dress. They were supposed to get married to the love of their life.
With fire services and a hazmat team being called to the scene. And 3 days after the event, Magnus's house was raided by the FBI, which he
Holy.
confirmed in a later interview.
When did the FBI first come to you? Was it straight afterwards?
About 3 days later, they knocked on the door, and I was like, wondering who are these people?
And then they came again when later on? Was that?
Well, at first I wouldn't let them search the place because, like, why not? And they came back a few hours later. I'm like, fine, search.
And he was also interviewed multiple times by
Fur
the
and
FBI
loathing?
with his
Wait, I missed that. Fur and loathing. Fur and loathing in Las Vegas. Is that the famous Hunter S. Thompson novel, but in furry form? Furries have no shame. We gotta bring some shame back, man.
He was in the room with his roommate at the time when the alarms to evacuate sounded, but the roommate, when interviewed, denied these claims and said they went with him at the time. And this was told to the people investigating the case at the time.
Here's the thing, and Sean kind of brought it up before about truth and stuff. So when you're talking to the FBI, lying to the FBI is actually charging with itself. So I'm asking you if you had any knowledge. No, I had no knowledge. So idea what was
Isn't that perjury to lie to the FBI or something? That's fucked.
I swear I had nothing to do with it.
Fucking
You
feds.
had nothing to do.
And the FBI didn't push him any further. They did another interview years later, but ultimately it seems they stopped pursuing him. Even though apparently at the time he did have access to chemicals such as chlorine, because it said he was working as a lifeguard at the time. But he denies the allegations to this day.
Well, whatever happened there, if there were cameras there, they would have seen it. And that's why I was curious why they came to me, because I was someone...
You would hear this guy on the phone and I would never think he's a furry. You guys know how that furry over here, where I was making fun of his, like, you know, speech? This guy doesn't sound like a furry. He sounds like a dude that would, like, I don't know, be at the bank, like, trying to sell me a loan or whatever, like, get me a loan at the bank.
And
That's
even to this
crazy.
day,
You
nobody
would
has
never
been
know.
caught for this
Unless he said
incident
it.
after all these years, so it's impossible to tell right now if it was Magnus. However, this
Magnus.
apparently
This
isn't
makes me
the
think of
first time
Dota.
he was accused of things on this level, because he has a loaded criminal past, from disorderly conduct to terroristic threats, which
No.
refers to an apparent prank
took
he
a little
did
bit
in
too
the early
seriously, huh?
2000s, where he went into a bank, placed a device on the front desk, walked away and said device released something akin to smoke, of which the result was a pregnant woman being rushed to hospital.
A stupid furry did a fake planting of a bomb. And you got into labor because you got so scared. Wow. Okay, this guy's fucked up. Everything while wearing a fursuit? I don't know. I don't think that was included. I'm not sure, but that's still really fucked up. That's so bad.
The fire department and a hazmat team being called
How did
in,
he not get locked up for this for even like a little bit?
and him apparently being very mad that they raised it from a terroristic threat charge to a felony. And
Wait, what would you... They illegally raised the threat charge to a felony. I thought the terror charge would be worse. Not a felony. I feel like felony is like not as bad.
with doing so, they
I
got
crazy?
a warrant to raid his house. And he was very mad, mainly because the supposed device was a stink
Yeah, this
bomb
guy
that he
probably-
specifies did not release smoke. And he did all of this because they charged him an overdraft fee.
This is exactly what I mean. They're either really, really smart or they're really, really stupid.
Yes, he got multiple charges because
How
he
is he
got
still-
mad at an overdraft fee. He apparently went to
Very
prison for
rational
8
human
months and
being.
pled guilty to his previous charge of disorderly conduct, which he didn't want to get too into. But
This was back in 04. This was post 9/11 too, chat.
All of this information is available from a message he apparently posted on a furry message board in 2005
Oh my
because it was
God.
normal 2 decades ago.
Like, America was super duper, like, taking itself seriously. Like, the freaking Patriot Act and want that.
To go into
That's
depth about your
crazy.
crimes, describing it in a way where you didn't do anything wrong. That was just an intro to Magnus, by the way. We still have a bit to go through. So Magnus has a lot of fursuits, around about 13 or more, and he even previously had his own company making them. But there are a few of his fursuits that are more infamous, to say the least. In 2015, he would attend a con called Midwest Fur Fest, and he would attend the con in what seemed to be a fursuit inspired by the Confederate flag, a flag that some say has the connotations of things like slavery and racism, while some say it represents Southern pride. He also came equipped with a sign endorsing Donald Trump, which was around when Trump was running for office for the first time, and there was a heated debate within the country.
Oh my God!
Country leading up
That
to the
is
election.
so
The name of the
funny.
fursuit was Arkansas, and at the same con, he
What if there was another furry that was dressed as Donald Trump's, like, opponent, and it was like, you know, right versus left, and then they duke it out, and then whoever wins, like, everybody has to vote for them? Oh my God, that would actually be cinema.
would be detained by security and banned from attending the con till 2017 for apparently his own safety. After his ban, he would attend a different con called AnthroCon in 2017, and he would attend in the same fursuit, attempting to hide.
I mean, they're expensive, obviously. I mean, you could repaint it.
The flag under a white sheet, but this time he wasn't banned for the fursuit. Instead, he was just reprimanded and told not to wear it again, but he would eventually be banned again for not paying his 2017 membership fee, and was told not to return till he did pay for said membership. I actually didn't know you had to pay a subscription fee for these cons, but the more you know, I guess. Another reason why being a furry is an expensive hobby. However, Magnus's FurCon shenanigans didn't end there, as once his ban from Midwest Fur Fest expired in the same year as his previous stunt in 2017, he would attend again, one without membership and two with a completely different fursuit. A fursuit that was relatively normal except for it being equipped with a World War I German helmet, modified
I don't think this is that bad.
with a fairy logo, which
You could argue that because it's it's not like a replica, it's just a style of a hat. I don't think this is that bad. I think the what is it called? The southern freaking, what is it? The you guys know what I'm talking about? The one that he was wearing before? The Confederate one? I think that was way worse.
I don't think would have got him banned by
the
default, but the
Confederate
thing
flag,
that
yeah.
definitely did get him banned was reciting a certain phrase that would often be accompanied by a salute during World War II.
Okay, never mind.
Associated with a not so nice German
mind.
party at the time.
I
When
take it
staff
back.
heard about
If he didn't do that, I think it would have been okay, but he didn't. He used the Kanye song, huh?
this and caught on to who he was, he would be asked
Yeah,
to
that'll do
leave
it.
and soon taken into custody by the police, where there was apparently a picture of such event, where he had to completely take off his fursuit and get in the back of a police car. I always thought people wore something under their fursuit, but I was mistaken. Magnus would create a GoFundMe.
Well, yeah, it's hot in there. Yeah, you wouldn't want to wear anything underneath. Yeah, that's not him being weird. It's because it's hot in those fursuits. There's really poor ventilation. Some of them, the really fancy ones, apparently you put like freaking fans and shit in it.
Later on attempting
Yeah, like mascots in football fields, they get really, really, really hot too. Yeah, the fancy ones, obviously they wear, like, they have fans installed, but yeah.
to gather enough money for legal
fucking hot in
defense,
those.
as the staff from the FairCon had pressed charges including trespassing and battery, but the campaign would be taken down shortly after. Another event Magnus is known for is in 2014, where he would attend AnthroCon, allegedly
Again?
attending with a fursuit that was said to be a bootleg copy of another fairy's fursuit, with the fairy going by the name Lemonade Coyote, who a year prior had unfortunately passed away on EMT duty, and a lot of furries at the time viewed this as disrespectful. There were
can see
rumors he
that.
did this with other fursuits copying.
My counter argument to that, even though this guy has a track record, I could argue and say that, like, there's so many freaking furries and, you know, like, I don't know, colorations, and, like, there's only so many animals that you can, like, anthropomorphize, but it does look like it's still the old one. Yeah. I don't know, that's sad.
Their design, but most rumors don't provide the names of the fairies he's copied or provide pictures. So that is Magnus, the first one on the list, and it's only going to get worse. By the way, if you are curious about Magnus and the chlorine attack, check out Brazen FM's 2024 podcast series called Fair and Loathing, where they got unseen FBI interviews and reports regarding the event, which was actually a really good listen and shows how confusing the investigation performed by the authorities was. But anyway, next fairy.
Oh,
Bro, furry stolen valor. I can make the argument that if I passed away, which won't happen, at least not through bad circumstances, if someone took and made a VTuber model, like, pretty much right after I passed away, for example, I think it is disrespectful. Or, like, anyone else, like, if something else happened to someone else. Yeah. I think that's a reasonable thing to get upset over. Like, people being like, oh my god, it's just furries, like, freaking out. I don't know. You're not part of their community. If someone did that with a VTuber that you like, I think you would feel differently about it. You would.
Brother,
you just think it's weird because it's a furry.
So, a step up from the previous example is Carpet Sample, one of the more well-known terrible examples that most fairies and non-fairies resent, and someone I've briefly spoken about before. Now, Carpet Sample, or Shadow Wolfess, or even William Bill J. Clark, was
holy shit, what? Billy Boy Bob J. Clark
was born on the 3rd of March, 19...
This guy's older than my parents, holy shit. Dude, this guy is older than most of the parents in my chat. That's insane.
56, meaning
dude,
as of this video, he would be 69 years old. If you laugh at that, you are missing a few neurons.
Hey, what? You want me to laugh at 6'7" instead?
He was last active in the fairy community around 2009, when he was around 53 years old, and he has not been seen both online or in public since. Or, at least we know of. He had many aliases, and it is very easy to go incognito in the fairy community. If you just have enough money to get a new fursuit, then GG, you're a new person. Unless they ask for your name when you're paying.
The VTubers do this too. If a VTuber gets cancelled, sometimes you'll see them pop up on Twitter as a new name. Yeah, I've seen it many times.
Your ticket to go to fairy conventions, but Carpet Sample was very well known to just ghost cons, meaning he didn't sign up or pay to attend, and would just show up and apparently sleep in the lobby of the convention after hours because he wouldn't have a room. However, despite his age, Carpet was an inspiring artist. Here's one of his drawings. You know, we all start somewhere. If PewDiePie can turn into a competent artist in just a month with dedication, so can everyone else.
Right.
It's just that his chosen art subject wasn't things like realism, architecture, or abstract paintings. No, on a post made a decade ago, he would say his artistic passion was drawing YIF art, which in the community...
Oh no. If I paw your thigh, you moan. Oh no.
He means fairies and he also drew cub art of this, which I think is self-explanatory, but for those of you not so bright, cub refers to an animal or fairy that is really young. And he was so passionate about his art, he would sometimes do commissions for low pay or completely free. However, this is not nearly the most disturbing part about Carpet Sample.
Wait,
as in the same
there's something less disturbing than drawing little furry babies? Ugh.
Post, he admits to being a plushophile, which means he likes having intimate activities with plushies.
I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I heard about the people that really like cars and then they pork the pipe, but a plushie? Really?
Yep, owning an IKEA Blahaj now not only means you're a femboy, but that you must now protect it as they are also at risk of being defiled. But wait, that's not even the worst part. It keeps going. So after
the plushie incident, yeah, I kind of forgot about that because I'm not a sicko. Yeah, someone tried to pork the plushie.
being done with his activities with said plushies, and
Yeah,
giving
they put
them
a
the
hole in
money
it.
shot and cream filling they also did not need, he would skin the plushie and add it to his collection.
Oh my god, this video is so weird. Do you guys remember this on YouTube years ago? Oh my god, this was a weird video, I'm not gonna lie.
Said collection being his fursuit, hence why the name Carpet Sample. He would wear the trophies of his fornication with plushies as the
Does he at least clean them?
skin for his fursuit, all of them unwashed, meaning he
Chat, I hope if you like goo it into like a sock or like on a t-shirt or whatever, please fucking clean that shit. Don't just leave it out. Imagine the smell on this thing. Like, let's not get it twisted. I have 97% male audience. You guys know what it smells like, right? Like, you guys know, you're boys, right? Now, imagine that all over this guy's suit, and it's, like, unwashed and smelly and hot and crusty.
his crusty fursuit is essentially a graveyard for his unborn children. And this is what he was most infamously known for, because he would attend cons with the
This looks like Donnie Darko. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? This looks like a fucked up Donnie Darko. Like a really fucked up one. Oh my god. Yeah, imagine like making like a kind of like a pseudo horror movie and then like this guy comes out and he's like, alright, I smacked your girlfriend's ass. Oh, Goonie Darko.
Suit, and it would apparently smell to the point where it would clear entire rooms, either smelling of piss or just straight up death. Also,
you know it's bad when the furries call you out.
some con-goers that apparently spoke to him recount terrible stories where he talks about the weirdest things, and apparently his suit had a female genitalia or something.
He's still around. If this is the same carpet sample, he sat down next to me at the con suit in 2006 or 7. Fuck. And he proceeded to talk about his character's vagina in detail while I was trying to eat. Nothing is gross bits in general, just don't want to hear about bodily function while eating. Also, I've heard rumors about the suit material.
But once again, it gets much worse. In one forum introducing himself, he would go into graphic detail about how he was a zoophile.
Okay, that's disgusting. That's a rope moment. Wood chipper moment.
Which is basically a person that is attracted to animals and wants to do intimate things with them. And in one post, he goes into detail about how he has done things with dogs he owns, and his preference for said animals.
No, you're done. You're done.
And even his future aspirations. And he also asked people with similar interests to send him pictures. And on his Facebook, you can find.
Oh no, poor puppy.
And pictures of his animals and the deplorable conditions they were living in.
Oh, poor little pupper.
There were also claims he solicited someone for activities who was underage in exchange for alcohol, and in another instance got banned from a fair con for asking someone in an elevator with a service dog if he could do things with the dog.
This is like, you guys know how like some people talk about like that 2-3%? I think this is like the 2-3%, and then there's like the 1% within that percent. Like, you know how 3% is like, oh, you're stupid and you need to go make rocks into smaller rocks? I think this is like the fraction of that fraction where you're just like pure evil and you probably would be better off not existing. This is disgusting. Like, you're harassing people out in public with your disgusting ass fucking fetish and abuse. Like, nah, you're done.
This guy is honestly rivaling any of the 40k Chaos Gods right now, and I don't even know if Nurgle would touch him, but he is behind probably one of the worst.
Nurgle wouldn't do that to dogs. dogs and animals.
Best
He just
fursuit created in the
stinks.
fandom and is a stain on the furry community as a
Yeah,
whole.
you get
And
thrown in a
crashes upon my
volcano.
glowing skin, I think to myself, what's next? Where do we go from here?
So I thought I would throw in some not so honorable mentions real quick because I couldn't fit their stories in this video. Foxler Nightfire is a fairy known throughout the fairy community
Oh, no,
mainly
not a
because they are
fox.
behind one of the most infamous fairy groups called the Fairy Raiders, or as
You just can't get away from the man.
they're commonly referred, the Fairy Nazis. Their logo kind of does look
Their logo is a paw instead of a swastika.
reminiscent of that one World War II
Oh my
party as well. And they have
God.
quite a lot of members in their group, with a popular example being Crusader Cat, who is this bald head.
Looks like a furry. He looks like a furry. Who's that Attack on Titan character with the bowl cut? Oh my God, it's escaping me. Armin, yes, Armin, but like Hitler, Hitler version, furry Hitler.
Guy who looks like that one guy of Dumb and Dumber. And
Oh,
like
yeah, he does look
Foxler,
like
he
that.
has been
I'm gonna fucking cry. This is so funny.
banned from a lot of
This is what we need to make fun of and like just say like how fucking funny and stupid this is. Like you gotta, like there's no shame.
cons due to his belief, but he has been seen at a lot of recent cons and people
This is
just
not
take
good,
pictures where they
man.
flip him off. There's also been a rumor circulating that they did things with their cat, but some people speculate that was just a rumor spread to get rid of him. But some refer to
Sure.
Foxler as that one.
I believe the other one more because there's pictures of him and then like he would walk up and say that to people. Like you need more evidence and like pattern of behavior than that.
Austrian painter of the fairy community, and apart from being banned from most fairy cons, he apparently wrote a blog post saying he was talking to those underage when he was 18, and another post going
Yeah.
into descriptive detail about dogs. And you can't
Oh my God.
have an unhonorable mentions list without mentioning Hypnotist Sapper. I did do a previous video on them, but they were known before this in VR chat for specializing in hypnotism and phantom sense videos on YouTube, but they are more infamously known for making a YouTube video in VR chat where they would admit to being a zoophile and saying they are more attracted to dogs, specifically German Shepherds, more than people.
There's something like your brain is wired wrong or something. Like it being attracted to animals and wanting to pork them. Yeah.
I am a zoophile. I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs like German Shepherd.
It got muted. It got
With
muted.
so much
Damn
good
it.
production quality in those older videos of mine. In the same video, she also compares coming out as a zoo to being gay and the struggles she faced comparable to what gay people had to go through in the 90s.
And
Comparing them to zoophiles is crazy.
it's a lot like when homosexuals were coming out in the 1960s during Stonewall and those sorts of events.
They also brought someone on that was in a relationship with their dog, and apparently their family was okay with it.
Absolutely.
And I can look myself in the mirror and say it. You know, I'm a zoo. And my partner is the love of my life. And
to make it worse, they attempted to create a legal organization for zoos,
Oh,
apparently
Zeta,
recognized
I heard about that.
by the US government, but that was a lie. It wasn't recognized by any government body, and it quickly failed. They were
that.
also known to be interacting with multiple underage people, at one point having NSFW Twitter spaces, reading them bedtime stories and doing ASMR, and sending inappropriate voice messages to one of them.
And like you said, since I am satanic mama, that kind of implies something.
They even admitted to being attracted to those
All right, we got the predator. Yep, we got him. Yep.
underage in
Awesome.
tweets,
Yep.
and even dating someone underage who
Very
would break
cool.
up with them. After all of this, they would eventually be doxxed and essentially forced off the internet, but before leaving they would provide dramatic dialogue at the end
They
of
should be in jail. Yeah, it's not enough that you're not on the internet. You should be in jail.
Brandon FM's video on them, saying they are improving because certain people are treating them with compassion now, and saying they are sorry and not to worry about them, and then they would just disappear. Supposedly, there have been rumours they are still roaming the VR chat servers under a new alias.
And it's so easy too, like, they can just make a new identity and keep going.
They were
Yeah, they always
apparently
come
in my
back. Yeah, unless you go to prison and you have no internet access, you're always gonna come back. I think these people just need to be locked up for the rest of their life.
comment section when I made my video about them. Now, the story of Zell the Wolf is quite a short one, but straight out of a horror movie. Zell the Wolf, or Aaron Thomas Uzeri, was not a well-known fairy in the community beforehand, but in 2016 he would eventually be known not to just fairies, but a lot of people outside of the community. Zell had met two very underage individuals on DeviantArt, where he would request images and pictures from them whilst also sending pictures of himself, which included a video where he would do intimate things with his dog. The parents of the victim would have...
And it was on Skype! I remember watching a documentary on this on YouTube!
Eventually see the online interactions and report it to the police, where he would eventually be arrested and sentenced to just 17 years in prison. He also did a video interview at the time admitting guilt.
Only 17. Should have been life.
And saying he would not contest
You're
the
a danger
charges.
to society.
Ah, sweet. Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. You know, back then you used to have to get hired drunk to see these, but, you know, thanks to the internet, now you just have to... It's everywhere.
Terror the Wolf was a previously highly respected fairy YouTuber who started his channel all the way back
Oh my god, I remember this.
in 2013.
This actually broke like the normie sphere, and that's why everybody started calling all furries zoophiles. It set back the furry movement by at least like 5 to 10 years.
With content like
Furries
going to
all
fairy
got labeled
conventions and
zoophiles.
talking
Every
about
single
topics
one of them.
related to fairies. And even at the time,
'Cause of
some
this guy,
people would
this
have
one
even
guy.
called him family friendly. He was fairly liked by the community and one of the biggest fairy content creators of that time. But later on, he would be more well known for a different reason, as in 2018 the so-called zoo sadist leaks would occur.
This is Encyclopedia Dramatica. I remember reading all of it too. It was really fascinating.
Where a Telegram group chat believed to have Kero in it would be leaked to the public, and inside were horrors
It was
beyond
so
human
gross.
comprehension. So there's your warning to leave now. If you don't want to be stun-locked for the rest of the day, leave.
I already
I
know
am
about
not
this.
joking, by the way. Things do get significantly worse from this point. In said group
You've
chat,
been
which
warned.
existed for years prior, there were multiple individuals
Yep, this is it. Yeah.
discussing topics such as doing things to animals, in a lot of cases puppies. There was also animal abuse, necrophilia, and videos were shared where some of the members of the group would forcefully do things with dogs where the animals are in clear distress, and one video including a puppy and what is assumed to be a baseball bat, where they would attempt to insert the bat. And there was another video where they would do things with a road-killed deer. Now all of this is absolutely f***ing vile, and I would say there's a certain place in hell for people like this,
Deepest
but
part of
even that
hell.
is too good for them. But what was Kero's involvement? Well, apart from Kero apparently talking about his interests in the chat room, and him alluding to doing things with his dog, and some of the videos did apparently have Kero's fursuit present, but that was apparently another member of the group. Regardless, he was still present in the group with the knowledge of these things happening, and interacting with others about his own related interests. And I think at one point sending a video to them of him doing things with the dog. But how did people point to this being Kero? Except for his name in the chat. Well, he says a number of things in the group chat referring to a YouTube channel, up-and-coming videos that at the time were not yet to be released. The person in the message referring to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he was located, pictures of his fursuit being in
Pictures of his fur so people can identify it.
there, information such as his
Oh my
dog
God.
dying, which he would only publicize a week later. Also, there would be pictures of his dog posted to a well-known
Oh, Turkey Tom's video was this. Yeah, I
zoo
remember that.
forum, which was the first instance of his dog being put on the internet, and that same image would later be uploaded to Kero's Fair Affinity page, linked to his YouTube channel. But as said, it was on the zoo forum first. So unless someone had previous access to these pictures and uploaded them before Kero could, and knew intimate details about him and attempted to frame him 6 years prior, it looks like this was Kera. The furry community, upon hearing about this, would mostly condemn Kera. Some would hold out hope this was all fake or a troll, but slowly but surely all would turn against him.
Good.
Kera would respond to these allegations.
That's what should happen. Everybody should fucking shit all over him and get him prosecuted.
Using the excuse his account was hacked, this is all fake, and this is all being used to frame him. A defense he sticks
Even though you post your pictures of your fursuit and there's corroborating evidence that it's your account, yeah, totally fake, yeah.
to this day, even in July of 2025, citing the person that exposed the group chat was a zoo themselves, so could you really trust them?
I want to point out the legitimacy of the person who posted the logs. This user claims to be an actual confessed zoo.
And that he was investigated by law enforcement but was still not charged with anything.
People are claiming that this is me, and it is not. Local, state, and federal agencies could not prove me guilty. Do you know why? Because there is no such evidence that I ever did anything.
At least one person out of the group would actually be arrested and charged, but it wasn't anything to do with the animals, it was more to do with what they were doing with kids. But their main
Well, that doesn't make it any better, does it?
defense was that because they were not charged, they are innocent. And still to this day...
Yeah, but there's a lot of criminals out there that don't get charged for doing obviously horrible things. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's like, it's incompetency on massive levels.
He roams free. And even more recently, he would take part in a documentary that released in July of 2025 called The Fairy Detectives Unmasking a Monster, where even though he was present, they basically shat on him, and he was not happy about that.
I am immeasurably disappointed by this episode. The producers clearly had an agenda when they interviewed me.
But despite his sub count dropping, changing his content to the VR chat platform, and just overall his disgusting behaviour, he still occasionally uploads to YouTube. If you want a more...
Even if you make the argument and you say, oh, there was no evidence because it was all roleplay and I was just making it up to be as disgusting and as sick as possible, you're still a sick fuck for even, like, posting that and, like, beating off to it. Like, even if you make that defense and say, like, oh, I didn't actually do it, it was all fake and stuff, like, it still doesn't make any sense. You're still a sick freak.
In-depth analysis of this story to the point where you would need a baptism after, I will refer you to Turkey Tom's video on the subject, or more recently a video I found by RKH Media.
I think I need to talk to the Pope after this one or something. Fuck, dude. I need to confess my sins of watching this video.
To touch you the way I touched Rita.
So those were some of the furries that actually deserve the hate. And it's not even accurate to call them furries, as most of the time the furry community completely rejects
A kid with the Donnie Darko cum rag.
them, and are usually the first ones to completely renounce or criticize these people. However, yes, it does seem like a lot of bad apples surround the furry community, at least from the outside. But I would like to think that's because the bad individuals and their stories are louder than anything else in the furry community.
Yeah,
we'll more hear about the crimes of the furries more than the good things they've actually done. But that's just my take. But yeah, good luck sleeping tonight with everything I just told you, and bye-bye.
I can't shit on furries because royalty is here as a furry, so like I can't say anything. That was a really good video. I think I need brain bleach, you know? Yeah, I need some brain bleach. No, he's a femboy? Alright, furry femboy. Take it or leave it.
Fire, fire,